I swear we'll get started soon. Okay, finally we do it. I was going to say, he just said we're getting into it, and here we go. There it is. There it is. All right, then. So our first draft of this game. So, and it's always a question, are we going to see target bans out of these players? It does also... Okay, One More Fight has only played Zool one time. Zool is obviously just a meta ban at the moment that's frequently banned in series, whether he's that common for other teams or not. But, of course, Zool pick rates are also not exactly particularly high because of the fact that he is so commonly banned across divisions, across series, whether or not the team actually plays him. Phoenix Rising Amethyst has 0 picks on Zool, so even less likely I think that One More Fight uses a ban on Zool against them. Braxis Holdout. Yeah, I'm not even sure how... Okay, wow. So I'm totally wrong, and One More Fight does use a ban on the Zool. Again, no picks from Phoenix Rising Amethyst on that hero, so honestly a little bit surprised to actually see them use a ban on that hero. I guess just really not wanting to deal with it. Like, they're themselves more likely to play Zool than Phoenix Rising Amethyst, and they have first pick, so they could have gotten it if they won. Meanwhile, the Kael'thas will be banned out by the members of Phoenix Rising Amethyst. I do know... One More Fight has played Kael'thas before. I have seen them play Kael'thas before, even in series before this season of Heroes Lounge. Typically, though, I think of their Kael'thas player as Lord Gaiak, who I'm not actually sure is still on the team. I really got to check my info. Okay, Lord Gaiak is still on the team, but he's not playing tonight. He would usually be the one who I would see as the Kael'thas player. Meanwhile, the ETC will be banned out by One More Fight. And ETC is a hero. It has been picked twice by the members of Phoenix Rising Amethyst, so I do think it is a reasonable ban, but they only have 2 picks on it, and based on what I'm seeing, either the tank player on Phoenix Rising Amethyst has a very wide hero pool and plays a variety of things, or they actually play Blaze as main tank, and I'll actually just go in, scroll down, and check that for sure. So no, they actually do play Blaze primarily in the off lane, at least from what I've seen so far. Yeah, they play Blaze actually exclusively in the off lane. So we do have a little bit of a tank choke going on, with obviously 2 of the bans in the first ban phase used on tanks, and then Echo is able to secure the Johanna, which is... It's a pretty good play to make. So Covey, someone who I have seen in some of the caster channels, he will pick up his tank now. I do think it was important that he picked up his tank now, because since Phoenix Rising Amethyst, since they only have the 1-2 pick, if they didn't pick up their tank now, they would have to go through the secondary ban phase before even having the chance to pick up their tank, at which point One More Fight could use another ban on a tank, and that would really squeeze Phoenix Rising Amethyst out of options. So it will be the Vala picked up by Newton Rocks, as well as the Brightwing picked up by Midnight Fire. And Vala is a hero. I've had some talks with some people lately, both just some people I've been playing, that I've played with and ranked, as well as some teams that I interviewed throughout the course of casting. One team that actually won the Legendary Cup used Vala to good effect on Battlefield of Eternity, but the way that they put it, they felt that was one of the few maps where Vala was actually viable. And I think Vala is very balanced in the sense that she has a pretty good mix of spell damage and physical damage, as long as you don't go for the auto attack build, which is generally considered the worst build anyway. But it's still very frequent that you see people go for the auto attack build anyway, especially in like Div D, Div E levels. Jaina will be banned by Phoenix Rising Amethyst. I do believe Hellstorm is the one on the side of One More Fight who does like to play Jaina, so that will be taken off the board for him. I am expecting a Blaze pickup at some point. I guess just with the way Blaze is, certainly this time in this meta. Yeah, so there's the Blaze. Blaze is a hero that is not exactly particularly ban-worthy, which is kind of surprising given, I don't know, just in the past he's been a very influential hero, not so much as these days. But, one of the strong things for Phoenix Rising Amethyst is that with the bans that happened by One More Fight, Phoenix Rising Amethyst was able to pick up 2 of their priority picks, 2 of their most comfortable picks in that Orphea as well as the Blaze. However, here's an even bigger problem, but this one's for Phoenix Rising Amethyst. They've got a Blaze solo lane into a Rexar solo lane, and on a map like Braxis Holdout, where that solo lane matchup wins a huge amount. I like, my personal opinion, I think Blaze hard loses that matchup against Rexar, especially in terms of controlling the point. We'll see what they can do about this. It does kind of mean at some point they need someone to rotate to assist the Blaze, and of course then that results in situations where they'll be down in the bottom lane where it'll only be like 3 against 4. Alternative option is that they just make sure that they win their 4-man and just try to push hard against it, even though Blaze should lose his lane and should lose the beacon. So, in the end, although Phoenix Rising Amethyst did get some of their priority picks and comfort picks, I'm definitely personally favoring the draft out of one more fight. I think the Rexar versus Blaze alone is something that I could feel, say, wins them the draft, but I like the rest of what they have too. I think the combination of the Vala Li Ming is a pretty nice DPS duo. Does have both good sustained damage as well as good kill confirmation possibilities. But you know what? We are in our game, so let's actually move on over. All right, game number 1 between One More Fight and Phoenix Rising Amethyst will be taking place on Braxis Holdout. It'll be Hellstorm on the Ming. Newton Rocks will be playing as Vala. Midnight Fire will be playing as the Fairy Dragon. It's going to be Brightwing. Echo will be playing as Johanna. And finally, it's Mistletoe on the Rexar. Meanwhile, on the other side, Phoenix Rising Amethyst. Spar Hawks will be playing as the Lucio. Yahtzee on the Junkrat. This is Covey playing as Diablo. HK Bear on the Orphea. And finally, it'll be a name that's really, really difficult to say. Chaos. I'm going to go with Chaos. Chaos on the Blaze. So let's just see what they can do here. Now, this is also a bit of a strange composition from Phoenix Rising Amethyst in that technically I would say that I would almost be tempted to say that they have a double mage comp. And it's weird to think of Junkrat as a mage because he doesn't like actually do magic. He comes from the Overwatch universe where, I don't know, actually a lot of the stuff they do there probably is pretty magical. But he's still, it's more just he shoots his gun, and that's not really thought of as something magical. But I think he generally is seen as a little bit more spell damage, and certainly long range with the poking damage of the grenade launcher. But, I mean, of course, he can do some auto attack damage depending on your choice of talents. And at the moment, the 4-man in the bottom does seem to be going in favor of One More Fight. The health bars of Phoenix Rising Amethyst are going down sooner. And, I mean, both of their healers on both sides, both of them are very much sustain healers. Neither one, I would say, yeah, neither one providing much in terms of burst healing. But here's a bit of the advantage for the 4-man for the blue team. It's a little bit of an easier rotation to picking up their siege camp. Not even much rotation at all to get there. And now they're going to have that siege camp pressure, whereas it would be a little bit more distance to get the bruiser camp for... Oh, man. You know what? HK Bear, let's talk about that. Getting super low. Unfortunately, this is Covey is kind of by himself. HK Bear is tapping, but this is Covey is trading so much of his health pool, waiting for this. So first kill goes in favor of One More Fight, and the second kill will go out as well. So One More Fight looking better at the moment. Unfortunately, this is Covey saying he needs to reboot, and that will be a pause. Something strange is happening, something funky, and we will bring it back. Bring it back to me as we do wait for this to pause, because if he's saying he needs to reboot his computer, depending on how good of a computer he has, this could be a little bit of a time. Yeah, I think for me, my computer... My computer reboots pretty quickly, where I think within a minute, I would say 2 maximum, I'm ready to go again after rebooting. I think that's pretty quickly, and I could even be overestimating that time a bit. I remember my old computer would take me like 10, 15 minutes just to get through a full reboot if I needed it, which was always frustrating. But those are old times. I've got a better computer these days, although not quite as good as I would like it to be. I even feel sometimes in this I start to getting a little bit of lag as I'm trying to do things now that are definitely stressing the resources of my computer a little bit more, running the game in windowed mode, having well, running a software encoder at the same time. So I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. I'm just talking about things. As, it hardly matters. Who do we have in chat? We got Ewok Thor ready to cheer on one more fight. Probably the only one who I can say for sure is probably watching this match right now because good old NyQuil friend is probably channel surfing. And, I mean, this would probably also be the time that you flip away to a different match, as it's gonna be a little bit of time. I'm not saying, like, I hope it's not like 10 minutes. But obviously our game just barely got started. Already we have a pause. Covey saying that he's experiencing some problems, getting some lag, which does explain why he was kind of in there by himself when his team wasn't quite ready to follow him. And I'm taking a look at my phone just as, So then, how are y'all doing tonight? All one or three of you. Tonight will not be... This, of course, won't be the only match. Got another match coming on after it. But I don't even know what the butt was. I actually don't have anything to talk about. So, this... I'm going to take a look at some other hero priorities. See if the hero picks that we have here are heroes that were... Like, if anything particularly stands out. Obviously, the Ming is a priority for one more fight, and that's actually one of their most commonly played heroes, even over the Jaina. So, if anything, that might even be more of a comfort pick for Hellstorm than Jaina is. Does look like they've got... Oh, and it turns out Brightwing... Yeah, I did actually say it before, but I guess I didn't encode it well enough into my own brain that Brightwing is their most commonly played hero, which is a strange choice. Wouldn't think of Brightwing certainly as the strongest healer. But, of course, in Division E, and honestly in most divisions, since all of these are amateur players, and especially as we get lower down in our divisions, players get a little bit more casual. It's just Brightwing is a comfort pick. It does look like even a lot of the other healers that I'm seeing for one more fight does look like a lot more like just comfort picks. Got one Lily pick, one Lucio pick, 2 Rhaegar picks. Obviously, Rhaegar actually is a bit more meta right now. And as I'm going about that, it does look like we will have our game restarting very soon. It does look like Covey has reconnected, and we should be getting back into our game momentarily. So it does look like we might have one additional viewer. We're still having some people wait. At the very least, I'm pretty sure Covey is back, and he was the one who needed to reboot. And now we're actually waiting on one more fight. I don't know. Maybe they decided to try to take a bathroom break while that was happening. So a lot of the healer picks out of one more fight seem very, very comfort-oriented. And I'm trying to look at what other picks they have, especially if ones they have played Rexar. So they actually have 3 picks on Rexar. So that's pretty good for them in terms of it being both like a comfort pick as well as something that is good on this map, as well as arguably just being pretty good in general. So that's a strong point for them. And it does look like we will be having our countdown very soon and getting back into our game very soon. We're at 5, 4, you see it. And we'll be getting back into our game momentarily. All right, that's it. We're back into our game. Obviously, things a little bit rough for Phoenix Rising Amethyst, losing 2 heroes at that time. Oh! But what a kill from Yahtzee. A nice concussion mine. Somehow, like, I don't know, I wasn't even paying enough attention to see where that pickup even came on. Meanwhile, Bear really needs to be careful because Sparhawk is not out on the field. Hellstorm is looking for the kill and the recess, but does not connect, and there comes the heal, as well as, I think, the amp it up from Sparhawk, but Sparhawk also taking a lot of damage there. Got to be super careful about tanking these powerful Li Ming shots, and still, the health bars on the side of Phoenix Rising Amethyst are just too low. Sparhawk is just barely able to not go down. Meanwhile, our solo lane matchup, which I didn't talk about, but I had felt should be going in favor of Misteltein, but at the moment is actually not. Chaos actually is doing pretty well in terms of both health and mana, and Misteltein really low and actually needs to hearth back. So that's looking pretty rough, but man, every time I look at this fight, the health bars are just too low for Phoenix Rising Amethyst. So now, I mean, if Covey and probably also Sparhawk, if they don't have taps, and it doesn't look like Covey has a tap, so he needs to Hearth. That's super rough, and he's just super lucky for him that Chaos has actually managed to take this. And I'm not entirely sure why Yahtzee is rotating, though. I guess, I mean, I don't know. I guess the plan here, maybe they're realizing almost the opposite of what I said before. Maybe realizing that they're just not winning their 4-man, so they're actually just trying to put more pressure on top so that Mistletoe can never get the beacon. And then they actually just try to start pushing top. Problem is Covey's here now, and with Covey here, that means the push in the bottom from one more fight should be a lot stronger. They've already opened up the fort front wall, and they're going to maybe even see if they can start getting some damage on the fort. They've gotten just a little bit, but that will be a... Oh, man, what's that ability? Let's trying to check Orphea here. It is the Dread. For some reason, it was just so hard for me to figure out what that ability was called. Yeah, this is looking really rough. Even with the way they're trying to double up on Mistletoe here, it doesn't look like it's working out for them in the bottom lane, even taking some permanent damage on their fountain. And I guess, you know, it's hard to say, like, on this end. Is it that Lucio's not providing as much sustained healing as the Brightwing? Or is Phoenix Rising Amethyst just taking more damage? I feel like that's the case, but the damage stacks actually seem to be pretty even. Nevertheless, it will be Sparhawk going down first. This is Covey, gets really low, but he does not go down. Meanwhile, Chaos, you know, against all odds and against the way I hype things up, is holding this top beacon, but he won't be able to hold it much longer with Midnight Fire phase shifting in to provide the support. And I guess that's kind of one of the advantages of Brightwing on this map. Oh my god, they're even seeing if they can get the kill on Chaos. That was really, really close. Where occasionally Brightwing can just phase shift in between the beacons, and it does look like with that phase shift, that will be the first Zerg wave going in favor of one more fight. And it's a 100% to 18% Zerg wave. It'll be pushing down the top lane as one more fight just very, very quickly de-pushes the Zerg lane, the Zerg wave in the bottom lane. And they might even choose to make this like a double, like a split push where, yeah, there's no reason for them to move up here. That Zerg wave will get some value while they will kill Blaze in the bottom. And as a result of that, I think they'll probably even get a lot more value on this fort as well. At this point, I think they finished the fort. Yeah. Oh, they finished the fort, and this is a pretty strong level lead, 9 to 8. 9 to 8 is a pretty strong level lead at this moment in time. Full level lead for one more fight, so they will almost invariably reach level 10 first. It would really take some heroics for Phoenix Rising Amethyst to make it to level 10 before one more fight. They would really need to aggressively take some kind of team fight before 10 and win it. Get multiple kills and then convert it into a lot of map control. But I don't think that's going to happen. In fact, the really, really safe rotations out of one more fight, pretty much ensuring that they get 10 before Phoenix Rising Amethyst, not even presenting the opportunity of a team fight for Phoenix Rising Amethyst. So Siege Camp will be cleared by one more fight, and here comes that level 10 momentarily, and I feel like the world is very much their oyster with that level 10. I mean, on the one hand, they could just push this down. They have their heroics. They can engage. Johanna could throw out a Blessed Shield. Instead, we see there is the Blessed Shield, and Covey is in such a bad position. He will go down. HK Bear will not be able to survive either. And with that, they can continue pushing with this. If they can clear the wave, they've got the advantage with the Mercenary Camp pushing. They're already threatening possible kills on Sparhawk. I mean, at this point, I almost feel like yeah. Oh, no, he charges in. Oh, no, this is a disaster for Phoenix Rising Amethyst. At this point, I was going to say it might just be better for Phoenix Rising Amethyst to just give up. To just give up this fort and make sure they don't give up kills like that. So that's just a full fort taken by one more fight. They can still theoretically get the boss if they're fast enough, but I think they might just be a little too slow. They could have gotten the boss. Newton Rocks will actually start it, and this is kind of rough. It's also kind of suspect when your Vala is tanking it by herself, but Echo does make it in just barely in time. Oh, we see the rotation from Midnight Fire does kind of give them away, but Midnight Fire has has Emerald Wind. Actually, already using Emerald Wind makes this kind of questionable. Chaos can go in. He's unstoppable. He has the combustion. This might actually be a huge throw for one more fight, but the kill actually comes out first on to the Blaze. Sorry, just kidding. On the Lucio. So 3 kills come in for one more fight, but it's Phoenix Rising Amethyst who actually managed to take the boss. So that's actually a pretty nice stabilization. Covey, I think, needs to get out of here. Even though he's got so much health and the members of One More Fight don't, he's got to get out of there. He's Diablo. He can't do enough damage. And honestly, a little embarrassing for One More Fight. I think the big misplay was probably the very... Oh, no! Talking about misplays, it's going to be that death on Li Ming. But I was going to say the big misplay was that Midnight Fire definitely used the Emerald Wind far too early. Although arguably you could say that Blaze could have unstoppable through it, but I still think it was just too early. Meanwhile, Covey, oh my god, Covey is in such a bad position. The Emerald Wind pinning him in place against the wall. The follow-up stun from Vala on the Rain of Vengeance. And that will be Covey going down. They can't engage on this. They can't. Maybe Chaos might have a chance to go against this. We'll see. I don't know how that 1v1 matchup between Blaze and... Unfortunately, Covey is actually disconnecting again, which might even explain why he's going down again. Okay, he does rejoin very, very quickly. And this is a Riptire that ultimately doesn't hit anything. So it's another double beacon capture for the members of Phoenix Rising Amethyst. And at this point, I don't think there's any way to avoid this being yet another Zerg wave going in favor of One More Fight. Sparhawk tries to get on the point, but it's too slow. This is Covey looking for an engage, but his team is not with him. Meanwhile, they might see, though, if they can pick up... Okay, I was going to see if they can pick up Mistletoe, who always seems like he has no mana. Phoenix Rising Amethyst does pick up... Oh, no. I don't know about that Lightning Breath. I don't know. That seemed like almost a defensive Lightning Breath, but they knew that it couldn't have been the full team approaching them because Mistletoe was over here. So now we're going to see the defense attempt by the members of Phoenix Rising Amethyst. They are down 13 talent here, so this is a rough situation for them. Yahtzee uses the concussion mine just to get safely over the wall back to his team. Meanwhile, oh no, Covey again just can't live. Gets polymorphed, gets blessed shield. His fingers are just off the keyboard. HK Bear is actually in quite a bit of trouble as well. But it could actually be Midnight Fire going down soon, and indeed it is. Chaos finds a kill. Unfortunately, Chaos is traded out himself. This is a Riptire, which should be able to finish off Echo. It is indeed detonated in time before it is burned down. So kills traded out on both sides, at least for this engagement. But overall, the game is definitely going in favor. Definitely going in favor of Phoenix Rising Amethyst. Sorry, I meant in One More Fight. So Covey complaining about technical issues with his game, saying that he's getting 20 frames per second. Don't know what's going on there. I would say just, after this game, you gotta sort out your technical details. If you have more players on your team, might even want to see about a substitution if it really is that unplayable. But otherwise, best luck. Best of luck for the rest of this game, because it's already going so significantly in One More Fight, the top team in this division. They will clear out the siege camp as well as this wave. They pick up the bruiser camp on their side, but they're very close to being in a position where they will be down 16 talent tier. All right, Covey's looking around, possibly looking for some kind of engage. Meanwhile, Chaos is moving around, supporting the bruiser camp push, trying to see if he can snipe the tower. Damage over time from the Blaze, but Covey is finding himself with no health yet again. He's only got a Lucio. I don't think he was even in range for the initial heals. Instead, he's going to have to be content with a sound barrier, most of which is already gone, and kills will come out. First kill, but I think they're going to manage to trade it out. They should get a kill on Midnight Fire, right? Yahtzee should be there to ensure that it happens. Oh my god, if he gets out of here, but he doesn't. Like, if he actually got out of there, that would have been crazy. So, obviously, things are not going too well for Phoenix Rising Amethyst. I think definitely some of the issues with their some of it's going on with their draft, and some of it also arguably just with their play. But the Diablo as a as a tank who doesn't always have a way out, is having some trouble where sometimes he's going in and using up a lot of his health when his team isn't always ready to support him. And then by the time they get there, he's down to like 20, 30% of his health, sometimes even less than that. Now they're down 15 talent tier, or rather 16 talent tier. So what will they do? This is Covey looking for something, but again, is his team close enough? I feel like Yahtzee is just too far behind for this to be a really meaningful engagement, and instead the first kill goes on to Lucio. Obviously, there's also the problem that I don't think Chaos was there for it. Riptire, I think, is detonated before it is able to do anything, or rather killed before it's able to do anything. Chaos goes down. They're looking for a kill on HK Bear. Oh no, HK Bear goes in with the Shadow Waltz, and Covey has no chance of making it out here this time. All right, this is looking very, very rough. And oh man, this is one more fight just getting everything. They've got 19-5 in kills. They're starting the boss. Hopefully they don't have any accidental deaths against the AI like they did earlier on. But they'll get the boss easily. They'll probably be able to engage on whoever's here. Yeah, especially if they wrap around. Well, they could have wrapped around, I think, just from behind. But they'll go both ways. Sparhawk will be slowed. That will be the Blessed Shield committed, and that's going to be a pretty easy kill along with the Polymorph onto Sparhawk. This is Covey, also in a huge amount of trouble, and he will just go down. And the truth is, this game really has been, it honestly has been just complete destruction in One More Fight's favor. The only real, like, really questionable moments for them were the few times, I believe, Hellstorm went down, took an AI death. Covey even calling the GG now. But obviously, boss is pushing in. Yahtzee, meanwhile, is definitely going to go down there. Is HK Bear any luckier? I don't know if he will be. Okay. Oh, no, he's not. So at this time, a boss on the core. 4 members of One More Fight. Vala actually died somewhere that I missed. But along with the Zerg Wave pushing in as well, I don't think that Phoenix Rising Amethyst can make this defense. Let's see if they can prove me wrong. Boss is about 30% of its health, but here comes the Zerg Wave. Meanwhile, the stuns will come in. That was a Blessed Shield, and that's a full 5-man team wipe to finish off the game. Absolutely brutal. 26 kills to 6. Absolutely brutal. All right, then. So I'm seeing a spike in viewers, which means I'm seeing our viewers go up from 3 to 5. And, if you're just joining us right here, we have just finished with Game 1 of the series between Phoenix Rising Amethyst and One More Fight. It was a dominant Game 1 in favor of One More Fight. As you can see here, 26 kills to 6. Man, that hurts so much. So, I mean, at this point, I kind of hyped up One More Fight as the best team in the division. And I said they're favored in this matchup. And so far, they are proving it unequivocally. Unequivocally. I think I mispronounced that word on the first. All right, should be coming up any minute now. Any second now, even. And here it is. All right, then. Now, of course, I talked about, that certain subset of heroes, but, if what I also said holds true about these players may not have all those heroes, up their sleeves, we might not see all of those. We might not even see all of them banned, and we might see focuses on different heroes. Let's even take a look. So, I'm taking a look at some of the stats. One More Fight has, they definitely have it in them to play a Vala. Didn't they actually they just played it last game. So, of course, they've got the Vala opportunity. Phoenix actually not so bad against the Immortal, as well as they've played Zul'jin as well. But they haven't played... Oh, no, they have played Raynor. They've actually played Raynor a decent amount, 3 picks on that. So, definitely some of those heroes on the table for One More Fight. How about Phoenix Rising Amethyst? So first ban will go out onto Raynor, so denying one of the race heroes, in fact, the primary race hero that One More Fight does like to pick, even though obviously they played Vala last game, so they could just go with that. Meanwhile, on the side of Phoenix Rising Amethyst, they have shown picks on Vala themselves. They have shown picks on Greymane, not too many though. They've shown picks on Cassia, who can actually be, I think, decent against the Immortal. And they have also shown picks on Hanzo. So there are definitely some Immortal racing heroes that either of these teams can go for. But the Junkrat's going to be banned out at this point. Does seem primarily just like a respect ban, given, I guess a respect ban. There was actually a really nice kill. Obviously, that game overall was just a domination for one more fight, but there was one pretty nice kill that Yahtzee did get on them with the Junkrat, so a bit of a respect ban there. So we're actually taking off both the Junkrat as well as the Li Ming, probably some of the primary poking heroes against the Immortal, where you can just poke it from a distance, even if you are kind of zoned out of the Immortal, or if you're a little tentative about making your approach on it. Greymane will be banned out, so now our Immortal racing options are pretty limited on both sides. You know, okay, they pick up the Vala. I was going to say, yeah, actually, that actually was what I was going to say. If I'm them, if I'm Phoenix Rising Amethyst, I want to pick up the Vala now, because really the two best racing heroes left on the table are Vala and Hanzo. And one more fight has not shown yet that they have actually played Hanzo, at least not this season. I didn't go as far back as to check the previous season. But they will pick up the Lucio themselves. They'll also get the Johanna, which I think is a very nice pickup for the members of One More Fight. And this is one of the few times that I actually like a Muradin pick. Normally, in some ways, I still don't like it. Muradin, I think he doesn't quite cut it compared to many of the other tanks. And the main reason that I'm actually recommending it this time is just that at least Muradin has a way out. He can disengage. Muradin also has a lot of self-healing, where even if he's in situations like he was in last game, where he takes a lot of damage unnecessarily, he can back up and heal it up a lot more easily than he would with Diablo. In fact, I highly, highly recommend that This Is Covey goes for Third Wind instead of Perfect Storm at level 1. I think it would synergize a lot better with just... well, not synergize better, but just work better for his team, like if they continue to play the way they are. Because as it is, they've got the Rhaegar. The Rhaegar can be good for... The Rhaegar is not the greatest sustained healer, so they don't want fights to go long. And the Lunara is banned out as well. They've pretty much... Phoenix Rising Amethyst has actually pretty much managed to ban them out of racing heroes, except for the fact that here is Azul Jin. Azul Jin, yeah, you know, it's not one that I would have thought of, but I think Azul Jin can race. I would say Q-Build Vala, I would think would beat Azul Jin, especially, well, I don't know. In the end, they both have to stack, but I think a Q-Build Vala should race faster than Azul Jin. So it also depends on what are our next damage picks for these players. And the Diva, wow, I'm so busy talking about Azul Jin that we've got a Diva. Okay, at this point, I think it's very, very clear that Phoenix Rising Amethyst wins the race no matter what. So they've certainly drafted to win the race. Now, in the end, I'm still... Ooh, but the Sergeant Hammer. Okay. That's actually an interesting pick. I definitely think One More Fight... Well, no, Phoenix Rising Amethyst, on paper, they should win the race, but I'm still favoring One More Fight to win this game and honestly this series just because of how dominant last game was. And it's really just going to be up to Phoenix Rising Amethyst to prove me wrong on that, if they can indeed take this next game. Now, the Diva pick is also something that's also the kind of thing. A Diva pick is the kind of thing where even after... winning game 1 so hard, a Diva pick is also the kind of thing that could force out a game 3. Very much an off-meta hero. Even, you know, given that this is Division E, Diva is just such a huge question mark. Can they actually get value out of Diva, or is this basically like a 5v4 in favor of Phoenix Rising Amethyst? Yes, I'm being that critical of a Diva pick. It's hard to look at this without any other way of it being like, is this just them trying to flex on Phoenix Rising Amethyst, which is exactly the kind of situation that could result in Phoenix Rising Amethyst taking this game after how badly they lost the first. But you know what? It's time to find out. We do have Game 2 underway. Let's move on over to our game screen as we introduced one more fight yet again. One more fight, we'll be having Midnight Fire on the Johanna. So actually a role swap right there. Newton Rocks will be playing as the Zul'jin. Hellstorm on the Diva. Echo on the Hammer. Mistletoe will be playing as Lucio. Meanwhile, the other side, down 0-1 in this series. It will be Phoenix Rising Amethyst. This is Covey on the Muradin, Sparhawk on the Rhaegar, HK Bear on the Jaina. Yahtzee will be playing as Vala, and finally, it's going to be Chaos on the Artanis. Now, of course, one of the risks of this Artanis, and probably just why we see this particular rotation along with Mistletoe, who I feel like should be supporting them with speed, is they're probably going to look over here and probably look for, I was going to say a well snipe, but actually it looks like instead they will just be going for the tower. I'm not actually sure if they can see the well. I think you need a skill shot to deal with the well. That will be... Oh, that's actually a pretty nice block by Mistletoe, blocking the phase prism so that Echo didn't get swapped. Okay, this time Echo does get swapped, but Chaos debated himself, arguably. All right, Chaos, and this is now working out really, really well for Phoenix Rising Amethyst. They've already got about 70% of a tower. And meanwhile, down in the bottom, I guess, you know, it's Newton Rocks obviously just going to be looking for stacks, of course, just as Zul'jin is wont to do. While HK Bear is rather low. I don't know about the Rhaegar looking for that bite. The Rhaegar, yeah, unfortunately, going in that aggressively with that bite, I think what HK Bear and Sparhawk just need to do here, they don't have as much risk of suffering the siege damage that the top lane will be suffering from as Chaos gets really low on health. I think they just need to try to back up, soak safely, deny as many stacks to Zul'jin as possible. Like, move back to the keep front wall, sorry, the fort front wall, instead of voluntarily giving Newton Rocks all those stacks. Meanwhile, Chaos is getting so low over here that we are seeing a rotation out of Sparhawk, and they're going to trade with This is Covey, since Covey effectively doesn't need a healer out of combat. But, I mean, for the most part, this Sergeant Hammer has just not been well answered. And I think there are actually a lot of strong things about this Sergeant Hammer pick. The Sergeant Hammer last pick into the Jaina and Vala DPS, neither one of these heroes can effectively deal with Hammer without voluntarily going into her range. And in that case, they should also just out-trade Sergeant Hammer. I mean, Yahtzee's trying to go in, but he has like no health. Rhaegar has no mana, so this is starting to look pretty rough this game as well. We're going to need to see backs, and of course, backing like that does just open up the way for one more fight to get the top siege camp. They've already got the bottom siege camp. This is actually a huge macro advantage for one more fight, because not only are these going to push and possibly get some value, but it's also going to take a lot of time for Phoenix Rising Amethyst to clear both of these up. The alternative is that if they don't clear them up, then that just means it's just like free immortal damage for the members of one more fight, and they're definitely going to get a start on that in their favor. It does look like Yahtzee's going here. He does have... Oh, he... he went Q build at 4, but didn't go Q build at 1, so he does not actually have the full racing potential out of Vala. Nevertheless, they've still got the Artanis, apparently, with the amateur opponent. Okay, but a team fight's going to happen right now. Covey does get stunned. He will need to try to get out of there. I think he does have Dwarf Toss, but he is able to walk back. But it is just going to be the approach by the members of one more fight. This is Covey is really low, so now Phoenix Rising Amethyst doesn't have their tank. They've got their Bruiser in there. They're trying to engage on that Immortal. But while this is happening, Echo is slowly burning down the Immortal on his side. Once they know they've zoned out Phoenix Rising Amethyst, Newton Rocks tries to go over to help. But that'll be a kill onto Diva. And the first Immortal is just barely taken by one more fight. This is Covey. What are you doing? He's looking for stacks on that Perfect Storm. You're right. Muradin is the race hero. We have a stacking Muradin with Sledgehammer at 4, which I don't actually recommend. At least not with the way... I think some people would recommend that if you actually play Muradin on this map. And I could see that, but I mostly just didn't recommend it just based on what happened last game, where I wanted This is Covey to have the self-healing potential of Third Wind. because if fights go this game the way they did last game, he would honestly need it. Stun circles. This is Covey now in a little bit of trouble. That will be a Diva Bomb. Yahtzee, I don't think he can get out of there. And that will be a kill onto Vala. Hellstorm, meanwhile, content to stay in pilot mode, or Baby Diva, as it's called in Overwatch, for as long as he can get that better damage against the tower. It's probably not officially called Baby Diva in Overwatch. I think that's just what it's like called by the players. Meanwhile, Echo is still here on the hammer, and it's really, really hard. It's just really, really hard for HK Bear to do anything about that, especially now that we have Hover Siege mode. Like, if there was no Hover Siege mode, then maybe going in for a Blizzard would be worth it. But especially with the Hover Siege mode, oh no, Sparhawk, what are you doing here? Sparhawk is actually going to die. Yeah, I mean, just unfortunately with their draft, I just don't know what they can do to deal with the hammer. Oh no, that'll be another kill. Was that on? That was on to HK Bear, probably just trying to do something to answer this Sergeant Hammer. Swap goes out, but it's on to Hellstorm. And with the Artanis by itself, that's just not going to be enough. So this is looking pretty rough. Siege camp in this bottom lane also probably means that this fort is gone. I don't know what This is Covey can do about this. All right, meanwhile, Midnight Fire is actually cutting kind of close. But I think he will be okay. Unfortunately for Covey, I don't think he had Stormbolt ready. And this is also how we see the macro. This is how we also see the macro of this game really spiral out of control. With the advantage, obviously with just the kills, as well as getting all the mercenary camps, getting the forts, we have a 10 talent tier advantage in favor of one more fight. And level 10 isn't even close for Phoenix Rising Amethyst. Not even close. So, like, honestly, any other division, I think you probably wouldn't even see a team like this even just staying around here and just willingly fight into a level 10 talent tier advantage, because it's only going to make things even worse for them. They give up 2 kills. All right, they do manage to trade out the kill on Hammer. But now we still have this siege camp pushing. I think just the typical advice is that they need to just split up and soak the lanes. Now, actually, there is a problem with that. The lanes actually being pushed out where they are. It would actually be risky for them to split up to de-push the lanes and soak to 10, because it would have put anyone who did it in a position to get ganked and rotated on, unless they actually 5-man cleared one lane at a time. But even then, they would still be in a losing position, because they would be rotated on by a team that has 10, while they don't. Oh god, Yahtzee nearly died right there. That would have been pretty rough if he had died right then and there. And yeah, I don't know. Certainly, the Vala build from Yahtzee is also something that really does raise a lot of questions. Of course, you pick Vala in part to race on this map, but Vala basically does not have a racing build at this point. Okay, we did see a Ring of Frost go out. I think it did actually connect. This is Covey just barely surviving there. But this is a 5-man push with a hammer, with the Zul'jin. The siege is honestly really good for the members of Phoenix Rise, for the members of One More Fight. My god, Hellstorm going in, looking to find kills on HK Bear, but then he needs to remember that he's Diva and doesn't actually do damage. This, honestly, I almost felt like they could have even kept pushing there. Like, it might seem questionable, but I don't even think it's that questionable. HK Bear was really low on health. Other members were dead. I think they could have found a kill on HK Bear. Okay, Hellstorm is super low. Oh my god, does actually... Okay. I was scared for a second, since we did actually see a Haymaker, and that Haymaker into the towers. I think if Hellstorm did not have mech ready, it could have actually been a kill. But, of course, he had mech ready. A lot of push that needs to be de-pushed on bottom. Siege camp as well as a catapult. Artanis is here. I think needs to rotate bottom. Yeah, I don't even like this Covey going in at this time. I don't think there's a whole lot to be gained other than what? Stormbolt stacks? I think they just need to make sure they clear out this bottom. Make sure they... Oh, no. Covey's going in. And Covey... Okay, Covey forces the Ancestral, but I think they die anyway. Covey is dead. Sparhawk might die as well. Hellstorm looking for kills, looking to find HK Bear, but doesn't get it. Okay, and even with those lack of kills and the kill on Murden, they will just get even more value. They will get the front wall. They might even get kills here if Yahtzee is not careful, as well as HK Bear. I mean, they're just straight up taking keep damage. HK Bear has no health, unfortunately. And again, this is now like the third or fourth time that I've seen a Rhaegar not go for the healing totem. And I don't know if maybe this talent is supposed to be the meta right now. Maybe it is overall the best. But what I'm often seeing happening is I'm just seeing times when the team that has the Rhaegar without the healing totem just seems to be really low on health and finding themselves in sustained fights where they are just being bled out through attrition. Okay, so that will be... They just bullied them. They just bullied them in finishing off that fort. Just absolutely bullied them. All right, meanwhile, they'll be able to get an easy lead on the Immortal at this time. Echo does get stunned, but he does activate the 50 armor. And that will be the halftime. So if we take a look, yeah, I mean, one more fight definitely has the advantage. I mean, well, I don't know. There's still definitely a race advantage overall, I would say, between the Artanis as well as the Murden. So this is Covey looking to try to distract them. It's about 3 versus 5. They're actually just going to go for the full-on team fight. Midnight Fire was hit into the rest of the team. And Yahtzee is now super low. That is a Ring of Frost. Ring of Frost does connect, but okay, this is Covey. He does stay alive. He does get the Ancestral. No kills have come in yet, though. Members of One More Fight are still pretty topped off. It's actually Echo who's really low. And Echo does finally go down. Something's starting to go in favor of Phoenix Rising Amethyst, just barely, but Covey will go down as well. They're messing around with this near full health Zul Jin, who now has a decent amount of stacks. And their core is about to start taking damage. Permanent damage. This is five catapults. 5 catapults. Some of them are distracted, though. And in the time that HK Bear goes back to try to clear that out, Rhaegar is killed as well.
We stand victorious.
Okay. I don't... This is Covey once again calling the GG. Yeah, I don't actually think there's a whole lot left to cast. Unless we do see some throws here. Mistletoe and... Okay. That could just barely be enough to keep this game going. And that was also a major throw there. Like, if Newton Rocks doesn't die there, I would say this game is just 100% over. Although, if Chaos dies here, then it could still just be over. Unfortunately, it does seem like he's in a huge amount of trouble. Does commit the Suppression Pulse, and Covey will even use the Haymaker for the purpose of peeling. This is actually not a bad position for Phoenix Rising Amethyst. They mostly just need to make sure that they don't lose all their members. Now it's actually looking a little bit more suspect. That's a lot of damage going on to the core. I might have called things a little bit too early. I do think they lose the game here. Yeah, 7%, 6%, 5%. Still players alive, and that will be one more fight. Finishing off this series 2-0. And in the end, it was pretty dominant. All right, then. So let's take a look at our scoreboard, of course. Now, as we take a look at our scoreboard, the kills might not make this seem like an uneven game. 13-9 doesn't even seem so bad. But, you know, if you actually watched it, certainly if you saw just basically the way the Immortal race went and the structure damage went, Immortal fight, One More Fight, not actually losing even a single structure. So this was a dominant game in their favor. It means they continue to be undefeated within the division and really proving what I said about them, arguably and most likely, and statistically, definitely the best team in the division. Hello, we got you here.
Bonjour.
Hello.
I'm
Hi.
sorry. My
That's
bad.
that,
Forgot.
that's
Need to speak English now.
yes. I mean, you can talk French, but I'm afraid that I won't understand any of it. So it.
I was my chatter, the chatter section of the NGS was collapsed, and I was like, "Where the hell is Lobby number one?"
I
I
imagine,
was not.
based on what just happened, I imagine when you guys are in your own comms as a team, you guys communicate in French as you're playing.
Yes.
Oh, good. It's very interesting to know. I find that just very interesting, given that so far, certainly every team that I've interviewed, it just has been straight in English. I don't know. Certainly had some players in Canada, but I think this is the first time when I'm encountering people who.
I know there's at least one. I don't know. I don't remember who it was, but I know there's at least one other teams that do speak French because they wrote in chat one time or something. But otherwise, I don't. I guess most people are English speakers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's got to be the case, but sometimes just got to remember that Canada is part of North America, and there are people there who do speak French. But how are you feeling after that game?
Hyped. It was fun. Our captain and the captain of the other team supposedly had a talk before the game where they said whoever wins the first one does a funny come in the second game. Okay, fine. We can do that. We have a funny kind that we like.
Was Diva part of the funny? I guess the Diva and the Hammer.
I play a lot of Diva. She's my favorite character, but
Yeah.
I don't often take her out on serious game because I find her way better than people give her credit for. But and even this game, I found I didn't do that well. But most people don't like her, and it's still very niche. So
yeah, I'll be honest and say I was kind of doubting the Diva pick when I saw it, but I certainly wasn't doubting you guys as a team after game one. And you certainly made the Diva work. And the Hammer pick was also something that, even if that was supposed to be a funny thing, I think it was actually just very strong.
yeah, I know. The Diva Hammer pick combo we took because the thing is, if I play my Diva by myself on the ladder, I have top DPS on my team most of the game. But when I play this comp, I'm not trying to do top DPS. I'm trying to use my 75% matrix to protect Hammer so she can just Rex everything and no one can stop her.
Yeah, you even had some nice times when you got basically the boop on the boosters, and you were actually able to like force someone back in, put them in a bad position with that. So it was well played.
Yeah, true. Thank you.
And so obviously this season, I've seen you guys before. In fact, I've actually played against you in season 2 of Heroes Lounge. So you guys have been, yeah, I was on a free agent team back then called Fat Riddler.
Oh, I remember that team. I don't remember your name.
That's okay. That's okay. But you guys have obviously been playing together for a while now. And how do you feel about this new thing in NGS where now you were put in Division E, a division that didn't even exist before?
Well, of course, we're disappointed to be in the lowest division, but we were always in the lowest division, so it doesn't change much. We're hoping to stay in D at least. Like you wish to go up, not down. That being said, I take it means there's more player, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, you're right, because I think it's, at least to my knowledge, or at least as long as I've been following NGS, the first time that I've seen it. So it might just mean that they're just straight up more teams.
And if that is true, then it's a good reason for it.
Yeah, true.
I agree with that.
Good. I like that. There's a very positive outlook and also very honest at the same time. Yeah, disappointed, but obviously just seeing the greater good in it.
We're going to make it back up. We've been winning every game except one, and I heard the team that beat us is no longer there. So.
That is correct. There's certainly a lot of politics going into that. Not going to go into all of it right now.
Yeah,
other than
that's not the point.
Certainly, I mean, I think I know some of the answer to this question, but obviously, at least within this division, how are you expecting things to turn out moving forward for the rest of the season and into playoffs?
I wasn't necessarily confident in the beginning because we've never managed to do great in any of our competitions yet. But every season so far, we've from Heroes Lounge and NGS, we've been doing a little better than the last. So I guess we are getting better, I hope. And well, this season, as I said, we're like undefeated. So I'm assuming, because I think we've played with almost everyone. So if we can beat everyone at least once, we can beat them twice and whatever it takes.
And part of what I'm looking for here, although I didn't ask it directly, but it could have been answered there, basically, are you looking to win the whole thing?
Yes, we are.
Good, good. That's kind of what I was looking for. Kind of wanted to hear it and just wanted to find out for sure. Because I think, at least my understanding of this, I'm not thinking that Division E will like compete against Division D like they would in Heroes Lounge. It's probably just going to be a final playoff for Division E. And of course, there aren't that many teams. And you know, you were saying that like you've struggled a bit in the past, but you feel like you've done better and better. With the way things are looking right now, at least statistically speaking, you are the best team in Division E.
Well, I don't know about that, but I feel we're at least on par with the others who gave us the most trouble so far. So, again, if we beat them once, we can beat them twice. We just have to stay focused.
So, who do you think would have the best chance of challenging you? If there's anyone who could stop you from actually just winning Division E this season, which team do you think it would be?
I don't have the list in front of me.
Okay. All right. Well, I can offer that at least We the Papegas is the...
Yeah, it's true. They were...
Statistically, they're the best team after you.
Too. Yeah, they do a lot. They're the guys who make a lot of combos, right? I think.
That I can't say for sure as much, but you know, just kind of see where they are in the standings. Basically, you two are the top two teams, so I would personally expect that it probably would come down to like a final match between you two.
And if it's so, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very interesting one. So can't wait to play it and then rewatch it, however it goes.
Yeah, even have that opportunity if indeed you do make it there. Like, let's not get too overconfident, but you know, just aim for what's. It would be a like a best of 3 series, or sorry, best of 5 series in the final, which is a nice. It would be a nice chance to play that. Like, have you guys had the chance to play in a best of 5 series?
Never.
Oh, okay. So
this is the season we're doing the best so far. So.
And with any luck, it might be first chance to play in a best of 5 series.
That's what we're hoping for.
And so on your team, you guys definitely role swap around a bit. Can you tell us just a little bit more about like kind of your how as a team you kind of manage your positions, and if you do role swap, what are the reasons and things behind it?
Every season except this one, and maybe maybe the last one in Heroes Lounge, we had Midnight Fire as a support, and Heko as a tank, and we had Mistelstein. I never can say his name. Mistelstein on a bruiser, and I was always mage. So and we had another auto attacker on what's Marco's name too? Newton Rocks. All right. Need to remember people's game name, and not real name. So yeah. So that was the comp we had all the time, always, because we were not doing great, and everyone had the role they were the best at, and we stick to it. And then Echo organized a trip where she would go bike around the United States for a whole year. And then we didn't have a tank anymore. So we did a role swap where we put Mistelstein on healer and Midnight Fire on tank, and got other players on the team and blah, blah, blah to compensate for losing Echo. And then COVID happened. So we did not lose Echo, but we had role swapped. So sometimes we go back to the original comp.
All right.
We have like 2 sets of we have the original role and the new roles for COVID.
All right. Very good. Good. All right then. So I think at this point we're probably getting pretty close to wrapping this up. So I'm just going to throw the floor to you for any final comments or shout outs you want to make.
I'm going to make shout outs to Lord Gayak, who's another member of our teams who doesn't play much anymore. And to our captain too, because I always only shout out to people who aren't there, but our captain's doing a great work to organize everything. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. Very good.
Thank you very much for the interview and the casting.
Thank you.
And I'll be sure to watch the replay too.
Very, very nice. All right. Thank you so much. This time we will be wrapping it up. Have a good night, Hellstorm.
You too.